Have you ever wondered if it's possible to visit Athens in just one day? Well, we're here to tell you it sure is.
We just love Greece, and we have been to Athens so many times. We always stop in for a few days before we head to the islands or head up north. If you are planning on spending more than one day in Athens, check out our blog in the links below because we have information on where to stay, where to go, full itineraries, and the best things to do.
So, what can you do with one day in Athens, Deb? Tell me.
Well, we're going to give you a complete itinerary from morning till night. So let's get started, Dave.
Well, where are we going to start? Well, our day starts with a visit to the iconic Acropolis. Now, we suggest getting here early because you're going to beat the crowds and the heat.
Athens is hot.
Yeah, it is hot, especially if you're there in the summertime, like we were. We suggest going right for opening at 8 a.m. and make sure to book your timed entry in advance. Now, it's important to note here that the rules have changed over the past year, and they'll probably continue to evolve and change, which makes things a little bit unclear whether you need timed entries or not and how that all works. So we suggest checking out our up-to-date blog post, which we've linked in the description, about how to visit the Acropolis so that you don't get confused and you have all the right information.
So we suggest getting the very first timed entry of the day at 8 o'clock a.m. But even if you are having that first entry, we suggest arriving much earlier, at least 7:30 a.m. because you want to be at the front of the line. Because let me tell you, everyone else is going to have the same idea as you, and you want to be first in so that you can actually see the Acropolis with no people.
Yes. For one day in Athens and only being there for this short amount of time, we do suggest purchasing the Athena's combined ticket, which includes access to the Acropolis as well as 6 other sites. It not only makes things a lot easier to explore, it also makes things cheaper. Now, when we went, there was no timed entries at all. But we were right at the front of the line, which we, again, suggest you should do. And we got in there, ran ahead of everybody, and we were able to get 3 minutes of uninterrupted viewing of the Acropolis and the Parthenon.
It was worth it. It was the best 3 minutes ever. So you'll want to spend at least a couple of hours admiring the Acropolis. So while you're up there, you're going to want to take in all the views of all the different temples and all of the different viewpoints of the Parthenon that stands proud in its center. And I think it's spent at least 30 to 40 minutes here before you start walking down. On your way down, you will see the Odeon Theater, which is an ancient theater that is still in operation today. They have concerts there, they have performances there, and they have a music festival there, and it's really cool to see. As you go down further, you're going to see an even older theater, the Theater of Dionysus. So just take your time and explore all of the monuments, their statues, and you're going to see some really iconic statues of people, like Socrates and the like.
Now, when you do get to the bottom, you are right at the Athens Museum. So you can choose to go in here, but if you only have one day, I would say, probably either leave it for the end of the day when you have some time or skip it altogether. But you should at least go in there. I know when we were there, we went in for a coffee. We got to explore just the lobby, which is cool. But when you're walking in, there's all these transparent tiles where you can look down where there's excavation happening. So it gives you a little bit of taste of what the museum is all about. So next, you're going to walk downhill for about, I would say, 15 minutes to the ancient Agora. So armed with your Athena's combination ticket, this gives you entry into this really well-preserved ancient ruin in Athens. We found it actually more impressive than the Parthenon.
It does look almost exactly the same with all those columns and the big square. And the great thing about this is you can get very close to it and walk around it to see it from all angles.
Now, what you want to do is you want to make sure to go inside the Stoa of Attalos. I think I said that correct, right? Now, this is the museum that has those rows of columns. I don't know if you've seen the pictures of it. I know we did beforehand. The columns themselves, I think they were restored back in 1954.
Yeah,
So yeah.
not ancient, but it's still a beautiful marble hallway where everybody goes for their Instagram shots. So after you visit the ancient Agora, which definitely put on your list, you're going to come out to a bunch of outdoor cafes that are lining the street. And you can have lunch now if you prefer. And this is a great place with lots of choices for some authentic Greek food. However, we suggest moving on to make your way to the Roman Agora. Yes, there are 2 agoras in Athens. And the Roman Agora is included in your pass as well. And when you go in, you can see 2 sites at once. There's the Roman Agora and there's Hadrian Library. They're located pretty close to each other. Hopefully you had a snack over at the Acropolis Museum when you had your coffee, and you can get, have a little bit later lunch. And then you are going to move on and start walking to the next stop is the Monastiraki Square. And that is where you're going to have lunch.
Yes, you can get some authentic Greek food at one of the many restaurants within the square, but we recommend going to A is for Athens. It's a rooftop bar that overlooks the square that is open for brunch from 11 a.m. The views are awesome.
Yeah.
And there are other rooftop bars around the area, but if you only have one day in Athens, we do suggest eating at as many rooftop places as you possibly can.
Yeah, the ones that are around are the MS Roof Garden and the Hyper Astro Bar. And all of these restaurants are an event unto themselves because they have incredible views of the Acropolis and you're looking over Monastiraki Square. And then once you're done eating your lunch, then you can go down and explore the lively square of Monastiraki. There's street performers down there. There's lots of street food if you prefer to have lunch there and maybe just a cocktail at one of the rooftop bars. And there's even a flea market that you can walk through off the street. And there's a lot of places where you can pick up your souvenirs.
Yeah, it's definitely a great place to go and take a midday stroll. Now, from there, the next place you're going to do is you're going to actually stroll from Monastiraki Square along Ermou Street, which is the pedestrian-only street, all the way up to Syntagma Square. So this is a walking-only street, which is pretty cool because there's a lot of shops and restaurants if you feel like eating along there as well. We do suggest stopping in at the Church of Panagia, I believe that's what it's called, which is an old Byzantine church that's free to enter. It's just right in the center of the street. Quick note, there are no photographs allowed in there, as we were told multiple times.
Yeah, this street connects Monastiraki Square and Syntagma Square. You go from the oldest part of the city to one of the newer parts of the city. And Syntagma Square is the gathering place of Athens. This is where you'll have all the events that happened in Athens today. If you happen to get there at the top of the hour, make sure to keep an eye out for the changing of the guards. That happens hourly all day long and is quite the spectacle.
If you want some more information or dive a little bit deeper into all these different attractions, make sure to check out our blog. We have a link for it down in the comments where we go into more detail about all these different places.
So the next place that you want to go, you may be tired of walking, so you might want to hop in an Uber, which Dave and I take a lot when we're in Europe. But if you feel that you have some time and you want to go for a little stroll and see another site, you can go walking through the National Gardens, which is going to take the long way to your next stop.
Yeah, it really is a beautiful gardens. You stroll through there, and it's, again, a reprieve from the heat, but you'll get to see the aqueducts. There's also Zappian Hall, which was the start of the first Olympic marathons. There's fountains, statues. It really is a lovely stroll to get you to the Panathenaic Stadium. And why we suggest to go here is because it is a stadium that is completely made out of marble. Everything is marble. I was really floored.
Yeah, this was the site of the first modern Olympics in 1896. So it's also very historic.
Yes.
Actually, it dates way back further because the first stadium that was built on this site was actually in the 6th century BC. My lisp is coming out. And it hosted the Panathenaic Games, which were a precursor to the Olympic Games.
After you've done that and you're going to walk back towards the city, you'll come upon the Temple of Zeus, which is free to enter with your pass. Now, it is good to note here that since we've been going there, it's just been under construction. It's had scaffolding on it and all that kind of stuff, so maybe you don't want to go in and take a look at it, but if you do have the pass, go in, take a stroll. I think it's definitely worth seeing its columns. I think that's really impressive.
Yeah, we spent about 20 to 30 minutes inside. And then when you walk out, we went to a place called Hadrian's Arch. Hadrian's Arch is a really cool arch that actually is the gateway into the
Temple of Zeus.
Temple of Zeus. But what I really like about it is that you can actually touch it. You can walk under it. You can get close to it. And then it also is like a border between the ancient Greece and this modern street. You walk out from the Temple of Zeus and all of a sudden there's cars and buses and all this hustle and bustle going on. And it's a great spot now where all you have to do is look up and see your next stop.
And that next stop includes some cocktails. Yes. You're going to head to a place called Athens Gate, which has an incredible rooftop view of the Acropolis. And so you get to look at it from all different sides. Remember we said you want to get as many views as possible. It also overlooks the Temple of Zeus as well as the Hadrian Arch. So you get a good, nice view from sitting up there with a nice cocktail, maybe an Aperol Spritz like we had, or grab yourself some appetizers before you head out to go for a late dinner. It's a nice place to kick back and relax for, a half an hour, an hour or so.
Yeah, and if you happen to be there at sunset, it's a great spot for sunset.
Yes.
So if you miss seeing the Acropolis Museum, it's just a short walk from Athens Gate. And the good thing is it's open until 8 p.m. So if you didn't go inside in the morning and you want to go inside and tour the museum now, it might be a good time to pop in to see all of the archaeological discoveries. Or you can just go and check out the glass floor and see all of those amazing excavations that are underway.
So now, just outside of where you had your cocktails, you're now in the neighborhood of Plaka, where you can easily find a place to eat dinner. It is actually the most touristic part of Athens, I would say.
Yeah, but if you're going for one day, I always go to the touristy areas. I'm not a big fan of going off the beaten path if I'm only in one place for one day. If you're 3 days in Athens, well, hey, go off the beaten path. But one day, head to Plaka. It's one of the oldest and most picturesque neighborhoods in all of
definitely. And we do recommend maybe grabbing dinner at a place called Point A, Acropolis Point. It has beautiful views of the Acropolis, as is every place that we've suggested to eat in this particular guide. And so it gives you a completely different angle, again, of the UNESCO World Heritage Site.
So if you want to keep the night going, hey, nightlife is what Athens is all about. We're going to want to head back to Monastiraki Square to enjoy the nightlife there between there and Syntagma Square.
Yeah.
There's live music going on. There's lots of bars, nightclubs, and restaurants. And there's plenty of rooftop bars to choose from as well.
Yeah, all the streets along there have something for everybody. I think, well, that brings our day to an end. Wow,
Woo.
That's...
What a day in Athens. It was a busy one, but if you only have one day, you want to see all of these amazing places, from the ancient Acropolis to those views from the rooftop bars. So this one-day itinerary, I'm telling you, is nothing short of epic, but you'll be able to come home and tell all your friends, yep, I saw a lot of it.
Yeah. Hey, I think we managed to pack in history, culture, Greek food.
Yeah, make sure to order Greek food when you go there. It's the best food on earth.
Lots of things into just one particular day. You'll be tired, but it will be worth it.
And if this Athens adventure has inspired you, check out our other video, The Best Things to Do in Athens, that tells you a lot more things to check out in this city.
And don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more amazing travel videos.
So thanks for watching, everyone, and we'll see you in the next video.
Ciao for now.